So first plant I'm going to repot is the Fritonia, because this plant likes to stay more moist, kind of like Calathea maranta, Tenanthe, Stramanthe, and other prayer plant family plants that I might not be aware of. Anyway, uh, they like to retain moisture more than the other plants. Hoyas are more like succulents, where they want to dry out. They do tend to have thicker leaves on them. Like my carnosa here. I'll show you my abavada. I got it in higher light right now so it can try to grow, but hang on. See how thick the leaves are? They're kind of got the thickness of, I would say, like a rubber tree plant maybe. But yeah, they are more like a succulent. So they want a good watering and then to dry out and get bone dry. So that's why I'm going to try to avoid all the chunkier stuff and repot the Fritonia. And then I'm going to leave the chunkier stuff in there for things that want to dry out, like the Monstera deliciosa, the Hoyas. The phlox, it's got medium watering requirements, more like philodendron and pothos and ficus, things of that nature. So it's not too picky, so I'm going to pot that next, and then I'll do the Hoyas and the Monstera. And I might need to mix up more potting mix, so you might get to see me do that. But let me put this back. Okay, so I'll take just a scoop out of here and show you what I'm working with as far as texture. I got small perlite in there, cocoa coir, some worm castings, and some like cocoa chips, wood chips, leca balls, charcoal chunks, bigger perlite. So it's kind of a mixture. It's a good all-around mix for a lot of different things. And I like that I can avoid the chunkier stuff or pick up the chunkier stuff in this box. It makes it kind of easier. Yeah, I got the box for like $2 at Dollar General. So we're gonna, it's kind of root bound, but not terribly. I'm gonna save my nursery pots like I always do. Heck, I could start my seeds in it if I want to, but I just reused the cups I made last year. And then I found this little pickle plant. It must have got attached to my Pilia aquamarine, because this plant was next to it and I really wanted this plant, but I didn't buy it. But then I found this little bitty guy right here, and look, he's got a small root on him. So I'm going to try to stick him in some soil too and see if he'll grow. He's going to want brighter light, but I got some windowsills with some western facing windows that I'm just going to try it. Anyway, Fritonia argyronera. Fritonia argyronera. My friends call me White Ann. That's what it says. So it's a good pot size up. It's a little deep, not too wide. I could go ahead and split this up for my friend too. Let's see. I don't know, these roots. I'm kind of scared because the roots are small and stringy, meaning they might not want to be messed with as much. So I think it's going to be safe just giving her cuttings from that. So I'm going to, like I said, avoid the chunky stuff. Having some in there isn't going to hurt anything, but I'm going to save it for things that definitely want the chunkier stuff in there. See some leca. Whoops, that's probably way too much soil. It's probably still a little too much. Okay. Now filling around the sides, and I like to take my fingers and push it down in there. You could take sticks if you want to, or if you got fat fingers or whatever that don't fit into the pot you want. You're trying to pot up. Fittonia is a low light plant, so it's going to be great in my house. I just got to keep an eye on the watering. But if it's anything like my calathea, my tenanthe, it doesn't need watered as much as a person would think that first gets these plants and it says it likes to stay moist. They really like to dry out quite a bit versus what you would think. Okay, so this plant's potted, and I'm not going to water these plants in because Milo's loves to overwater their plants, which is sometimes good for me because then I can get them discounted. But yeah, not going to happen right now. I've also got more new plants that I'll have to show you my next houseplant tour. Or maybe whenever I feel like you guys are ready to see them, but I'm not ready to show you yet. But yeah, I'm also going to be working more on outside plants. I have 2 raised beds on their way, and I'm going to try to order 2 more to expand my vegetable fruit garden. So that's exciting. But now, since it's all potted up, I'm just going to stick it in that cover pot. And then look how nice that looks. So you could just take one of those stupid nursery pots and put it in something that doesn't have a hole. Like I have, for a cover pot, an old candle that I basically tried to melt most of the wax out, wash it, and use it for a cover pot because why not? Why would I go spend more money when I can get crafty? And then these cover pots also, like, we could decorate somehow if we want to, if we're feeling crafty. So there's a Fittonia all potted up. Now I'm going to find a container for the phlox, and I think I want to find a cuter one. I'm thinking one of those 6-inch planters out there. I think that'll look good. And it's going to be an outside plant. It wants full sun, creeping phlox does. So that's where I planned on sticking it anyway, was outside. And I'm not putting it in terracotta because it is going to go outside. It's going to get more intense light, and I'm going to have to water it more. I mean, that's up to you. If you had it like where, oh, I have to hover my plants, even my outside plants, and you want to water it more often, go ahead and stick it in terracotta. It's not going to hurt anything. But yeah. But I have glazed ceramic, and these pots are beautiful. And I don't have any use for them right now. Let me see if I have these little things I'm looking for. So up here in my tin, I have garden supplies. And with some of my pots they sent with me, I've got one more. I think I'm going to use this for the Monstera though. They sent me labels, plant label tags, and these that you stick at the bottom where the drainage hole is so all your soil don't come through. But I want to save this for my Monstera. So I am going to use a piece of toilet paper or paper towel, whichever I grab first, and stick it on the bottom. That way water can still go through, but the soil's not going to come out right away. Another good idea to stick at the bottom of it would be like coffee filter, but I just stuck toilet paper down there. Let me get this phlox out. I'm going to massage it. Ooh, nice phlox. Let's see if I can get it out. Woo! I'd say that's root bound. You think? I don't really have a use for this shape of a planter, so I'm just going to pitch this one. Wow, but dirt's coming out. I don't want it all over the floor. I already got it all over my clothes, so it's going to go on the floor anyway. Let me stick it in there, see what I'm working with. It really needs to be deeper. I think that's going to be good enough. I'm not going to stick any soil at the bottom of it just because of that reason. But yeah, I don't have anything. Ooh, you know what I could do is repot that monstera and use that pot for the phlox. Or I can take this phlox, split it up. Maybe. It's pretty root bound. Let's just leave it. Let's just leave it. Okay, I'm going to stick this over here so I don't make more of a mess than I already am. Again, I am sticking a little bit of chunky in there, but I'm trying to avoid it. That way I don't have to water it as much. But I really like the way this is going to look in this pot and having the flowers cascade over the side of it. That's gorgeous. These are on sale at $4 right now at Lowe's. At least the Lowe's in Madisonville. So if you're interested in a creeping phlox... It's kind of difficult to pot up these vining plants because the foliage gets in the way. I bet this would be a gorgeous ground cover. Kind of like got rose moss. That's a beautiful ground cover too. I love rose moss. I guess I'll just be sweeping the dining room today. I'm making a big mess. And I like to leave some headspace at the top, but this plant's so tall. It's all right though. Okay, what do you think? I mean, the plant's not the healthiest right now, but I still think this looks darling. And this one I am going to water in because it's not quite as wet as the Fritonia. But I'll probably water it later. Or if I forget about it, it's not going to be the end of the world. But I do know I got to go run to Rural King today and get some fencing supplies. So I want to get on with this repotting. Next plant. Ooh, might as well just scoop this soil back in the box. Oh, while that pickle plant's looking at me, I'll go ahead and pot it. I've got some super, super, super tiny little bitty terracotta pots right here. And I'm just going to stick some soil in there. A little bit of chunky. And at least the smaller bits of chunky. It's a tiny, tiny plant. So. Nestle it right in there. I don't know if this plant will take or not. It's pretty squishy. So I'm not even sure if I should water it or not. I'm just going to try to stick it in the sun and see what it does, because cacti and stuff love to be ignored. And stores like to water their plants. They don't understand overwatering. That's okay though. Like I said, there's benefits to that. So there's my little pickle plant in a little terracotta. Okay. Next plant I'm going to wrestle with. First of all, I'm going to go get my chunky mix and stick some more of that in here. I'm going to have to mix some more of this up, but this is my chunky box. And so what I got is Better Grow Special Orchid Potting Mix. And you could get this at Lowe's. I got mine on Amazon. They're about the same price, like $5 for a bag. Why doesn't it want to open? I've opened it before. I don't know. Oh, because this is the second bag I ordered too. Let's stick some of that in there. And then the pieces of charcoal, since it doesn't have a whole bunch of charcoal in it compared to the rest of the stuff, it's got chunky perlite in it like that. And then these cocoa bark, or whatever kind of bark it is. And then big old chunks of charcoal. But I like to distribute the charcoal out because it's got lots of benefits for your plants. So I'm just going to break it up lightly. Some of these bigger chunks I can't do by hand. And yeah, you could buy smaller chunks of charcoal, but they're typically run more expensive. So for the price of this bag, I don't mind going through and breaking up some charcoal. It's fine. Okay, and then I got Miracle Grow Orchid Potting Mix. I'm just trying to use this up. It's not quite as big of chunks as the other stuff, the Better Grow or whatever brand it was that I said. And then I have some leca balls. I like leca balls. I don't pot anything in leca per se. I'm propagating a snake plant in there and it's doing wonderful. And I like to mix it in my mixes. However, I'm not one of those that just likes to grow in leca. But I'll always have leca on hand. I'm going to mix all that up. Okay, so now I'm going to stick more of this in, since I am dealing with stuff that really likes to dry out. All right, that's good. So now I got room in there if I want to add more worm castings and cocoa coir. I got room. But I'll show you what the ratio looks like now. Pretty stinking chunky, but yet it's going to hold a little bit of water. So that's great. So now this mix, go back. Okay, so I guess I'll do Hoya carnosa first. And I'm definitely going to stick it in terracotta, but the giveaway one, I'm going to stick it in nursery pot because I didn't pay for those. Sorry, but one for you. And Hoya don't have very big root systems, so I'm just going to go ahead and stick it in a 4-inch terracotta pot. I think that'll work. And probably not going to be watering these in either because I'm pretty sure Lowe's already done that for me. But let's get this broken up. Water once a week? That's what it says on there. No. Whoa. Okay, the rest of this stuff I am sticking in the compost. Be right back. Okay, now that that's apart, you know, there's lots of stuff in here that I'm not sure I want in this mix. I don't know. So I'm just gonna do it over here instead. I'm gonna end up sticking a lot of this in the compost. It looks pretty chunky. Yeah, it's soaked. Hoyas don't really like to be repotted either, so I'm going to assume that this is going to look sad for a while. But I feel like it's going to be okay. And I am just making a big mess. Okay. Trying to get enough of this root ball cleaned off so it'll fit into the pot. Okay. I think she's gonna fit. Yep. All right, let me stick some chunkiness goodies in there. Especially since, yeah, chunk at the bottom, so it gives it good airflow. I don't know if I need quite that much soil in there. Oh, look. Now I can just take it and backfill it. Look how that looks great. It fills the pot out beautifully. And this Hoya can probably stay in this soil for, I would say, maybe another year or two before it needs repotted because their roots just, they don't grow very fast. I'm going to shove some chunkiness down the sides. Make sure it drains good. Especially since it's not in terracotta. And doesn't that just make a beautiful gift? Who wouldn't be happy to have this? I love it. I love it, love it, love it. It's going to make somebody so happy. All right, that guy's done. Now let's take a look at my other one. Oh, look, mine's not as full. The one I'm keeping. That's all right. I'll stick it out on the porch this summer and hopefully it'll just help it get bigger. Ooh, there's a piece of Hoya right there. I don't want to lose you. All right. Chunky bottom. Now I'm going to mix some soil in with a lot of chunkiness. I'll just nestle it right in there. And there she is. It's a little dirty, but it still looks good. Not as pretty as the one I'm giving away. I'm kind of jealous, but it's all right. Well, I think that saucer might be a little big. Find a smaller one. No, I really don't have a smaller one. Not unless I want to go for my 3-inch pot ones, which is going to look more ridiculous. So this is going to be good enough. All right. Oh, I'm running out of space on my table now. Hang on. I got to do something. Okay, I lied. I got a little too upset about how the Hoyas were looking. So I balanced them out now. So this one has a nice long cascading trail of one and then some starter Hoya in there. And then this one has just 2 mediocre. Now I feel better. I feel like we both have equally gorgeous plants now. Okay, and then the Hoya linearis. Hanging part off. I'm actually excited I got some hanging pots out of this because I kind of want hanging plants on my porch. They're beautiful. I've got some that I'm sticking out there right now, like that plush vine and then the heartleaf philodendron. But why not fill the porch up with hanging baskets or other parts of the house? Inside or out? There we go. Come on. Work with me. This is crap. One last one and it wants to be a jerk. Okay. Thank you for your cooperation. Let's try this one. It feels like I'm grabbing grassy hair or something. Okay. Ooh. There's part of Hoya. Split you down the middle. All right. So I'll stick this guy off to the side. Gosh, I've made a big mess. This mix is not as chunky as the Hoya carnosa, but they're not grown by the same company either. This is Costa Farms, and then the other one, I don't even remember what it was. Does have lots of chunky perlite in it, and it seems like cocoa coir and probably worm castings or just basic houseplant soil mixed in with it. Okay, it's cleaned up good enough. That'll fit. Oh, look how darling that looks. Okay. Trying to clean it up a little bit better. I just think it's too moisture retentive. All right. Chunky bottom. Oh, that's the rhino is wagging his tail against the door. Make sure all the roots are in there. This way, this is an interesting repot. It's kind of fun though. I like the texture of this plant. I know it's kind of hard to see what I'm doing here, but I'm just sticking it in around the outer parts of the root ball. Trying to get the chunky in there. All right. I love the way it looks. Oh my gosh. I think she's going to be tickled. So now I got one more Hoya, but again, I've got a lid full of soil. I'm going to run to the compost real quick so I can tackle this other part of the Hoya. So with this Hoya, I think I'm going to be able to pot it up again. I still have that. I have enough for another small pot. So I might just do that. We'll see how that turns out. I know this is a long video, but this is real-time madness. I might try to squeeze these plants in there. Might as well. Roots, roots, roots. The rest of that is just leaves that have fell off. I love it. I love it in the plastic pot. I love it in the terracotta pot. I think it looks great. Uh, I don't know where to put these plants. They're probably going to be porch plants, and well, especially the carnosa because it flowers. So attracting bees and all that. I am going to probably stick it out on the porch. But oh my goodness, it's so cool. All right, now I gotta